let's talk about Albert Breer's main takeaway from the owners' meetings because it had nothing to do with Trey Lance.
Right. Well, or did or didn't. It had a lot to do with Brock Purdy. According to Breer is saying that his number one takeaway from the NFL owners meeting is that the 49ers are in love with Brock Purdy and that they're all in on Brock Purdy and that they feel like Brock Purdy is truly special. And not just a third string quarterback who had a hot run, but is really a franchise quarterback. He didn't
He's
say
the
all
one.
that. Yeah, but he didn't. All he got out of it was that his takeaway was that either he obviously talked to somebody from the Niners and they conveyed some love for Brock.
I think John Lynch conveyed that love publicly. He went on and on, gushed about him. To me, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were a little different here. John Lynch gushed about Brock, said, basically he's seen enough. Matt Mayoko was like, it's only 8 starts. And John was like, yes, but it's the way he played his 8 starts. Like, dude, we're good here. Kyle was like, yeah, I'd feel that way if he didn't get injured, but he did get injured. So I guess we'll have to see when he comes back. But in the meanwhile, have I told you about this guy named Sam Darnold? He's phenomenal. So I always feel like Kyle kind of leaves his options open and maybe feels like he's the reason. I don't think he values the quarterback position. I don't think he thinks any quarterback is that special. I think he thinks the reason any quarterback has success. And while I think he likes Brock Purdy, I think he feels that he's probably the reason Brock Purdy was good. And that I really think Kyle thinks enough of himself to think he could do it again with Sam. But that's neither here nor there. I do believe that Breer said it was the front office, and I think he's absolutely correct. I think the front office loves this kid, Brock.
It's interesting. I think there's a lot of head coaches in the NFL, and I think they go one way or the other when it comes to the quarterback. They either give the quarterback way too many passes and they're too soft on the quarterback, and they really say we're all one team, but then they treat 52 guys one way and the quarterback, the number one
Mike
quarterback.
McCarthy, Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, and I think Kyle's the opposite of that. I think Kyle is incredibly hard on his quarterbacks. I think he's a perfectionist at heart, and who feels the brunt of that perfectionist mentality? The quarterback. I don't think he's ever really satisfied 100%. You can hear him when he describes plays and drives. He's not always when is he ever just totally like just almost like breathtaking by his quarterback's ability?
It's like they're in the way.
Right. Or
you know what I mean?
They're part of the equation, but they're not the equation.
Yeah, they're the part of the equation that messes it up the most.
He's critical of the
You know what I mean? Yeah.
He is. I think you can
He acts like the job is so easy. Like, just hit the open man, please. It's like, yeah, okay, well, the offensive line's a little small.
I mean, it just seems like there's a lot of coaches in this league that apologize for their guy. He seems like he'll apologize for everybody else, but the quarterback he's going to drag through the mud.
Didn't he get that from? I don't know if he got it from his dad, but I think Bill Belichick is that way, and I think Kyle wants to be like Belichick. But is it an effective strategy, or is it effective because Tom Brady allowed Belichick to talk to him that way? And I don't know. I think maybe Kyle thought Jimmy would allow him to talk to him that way, and maybe he did. But I think Jimmy tuned him out to a degree after a while. I think he took it in stride, but at a certain point was like, dude, I hate you and your plays suck. Well, anyway, Brock Purdy hasn't done that yet.
It does seem like Kyle almost celebrates that he coaches his quarterbacks hard and that he's critical to their face and that he's not easy to play for and he challenges them. And I'm sure he thinks that's the way to do it. But, he definitely seems like he drives the quarterback position hard.
Not just to their face, but in front of the entire team. I imagine in these team meetings, he just eviscerates them. And that's why when people say that he wanted Mac Jones, that never would have worked. We know now that Mac Jones is sensitive and Bill Belichick himself had to tell his coaches, hey, go easy on him. Kyle wouldn't do that. Kyle would have found that out before that. I have a feeling there's a reason they didn't go for Mac Jones, and it wasn't just public pressure. I bet you that relationship just flat out wouldn't have worked. And, look at Trey. Look at Brock. Those are two personalities. You meet them like, oh, yeah, you guys are mature enough and self-assured enough to take his negativity and move on, especially Brock.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brock, I think he's I think Kyle referenced it a couple times this year that, he's had some harsh things to say and some harsh criticisms, and he likes the fact that Brock can take hard coaching.
Brock knows who he is. He's played a lot of football. He's confident in what he can do. When Kyle says you were wrong, I'm sure Brock probably sees it the same way and doesn't exactly have the standing to disagree with Kyle anyway. I think it's another reason why Kyle likes these quarterbacks on rookie deals. What are they going to say when he says you messed up? Like Jimmy Garoppolo at a certain point could say, I see it differently than you, Kyle. He makes more money than Kyle. He's a quarterback. That's like a power struggle that you could have. Brock Purdy just has to say, sir, yes, sir. And same with Trey and Sam.
It's true. Once you pay a quarterback $20 million, they got a seat at the table, man. They've got a seat at the table, and their opinion will be heard. You're
Absolutely.
right. If you take a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal, and especially when you have these kinds of weapons, you can be like, hey, man, you want to play in my offense? You want to play with these weapons? It's like you have, leverage. You have something you can actually take away from your quarterbacks if you want.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to say a control freak, but a micromanager like Kyle Shanahan, I think he wants that. He wants a quarterback. He talks about it. He just wants a quarterback to throw where he schemed the play to go. He wants a guy to follow directions, essentially. Process the defense very quickly, follow directions, and hit the open man. Like, you don't need to do anything special. Don't make a wow throw. Don't extend the play. I mean, sometimes if you have to, but basically just allow me to be the star here. So,
well, and as we all know, all quarterbacks, there's a game plan, there's a play called, but then things break down. What do you do off schedule? I think that's the part that isn't coached. That's the part that's natural. That's the part that's innate. That's what Brock has. And so I think Kyle thinks, oh, he's perfect. I can call the perfect play against the perfect coverage and give him a first look. And if it all breaks down, he can buy some time, scoot out of the pocket, extend the play, and find an open man. He did it in the back of the end zone a couple times off broken plays and scored touchdowns. So I think Kyle looks at Brock and says, man, him and me together are dangerous.
yeah, at the same time, though, I feel like Kyle Shanahan's like a bachelor at heart when it comes to quarterbacks. Like they're saying he's in love with Brock. Yeah, he's in love with Brock, but I mean, he's in love with Sam too. You know what I mean? He's in love with probably a quarterback in this draft. He's in love with 3 quarterbacks probably who are going to be free agents next year, including Kirk Cousins, who we're going to talk about soon. I feel like Kyle Shanahan he's almost like Jerry Seinfeld. Like he has no intention of ever settling down, and he just kind of like floats the idea to his parents to get him off his back, but really he doesn't want to settle down. So yeah, he likes Brock now, but next year he could like Kirk. The year after that he could like someone totally different. And I think this whole conversation, like wait till Kyle finds the one for him. He doesn't want the one for him. He wants to keep cycling through quarterbacks. That's what I think.
I think he definitely has his what he's looking for in a quarterback, and he wants somebody. The thing
until he breaks them. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, until they break down. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Under pressure or whatever, under rush,
physical force. Yeah.
He wants guys who play on time consistently, and that's why
he wants Drew Brees.
That's why you want a Drew Brees. That's why you'd want a Drew Brees. That's kind of why you may like a Brock Purdy, just because. Yeah, are there arm strength issues? Yeah. Can he make all the throws? Well, maybe, but not. There's some he probably can't make. But man, the ball comes out on time.
Yeah. Nees says, Larry, in relation to the draft, you said a number of times the Niners need a cornerback. CB1. What happened to Travarius Ward? He never quite got right after the injury, but did he completely lose that CB1 view to you?
Well, I like him a lot. I like Charvarius a lot, but Charvarius is, a really good. I think he's a really good number 2. I think he's a number 2 corner. I don't think he's a number 1. I think he's a 2. So I'm looking for that one, that dominating Deion Sanders, take away half the field, big, rangy, kind of like a Tariq Woolen, what Seattle discovered this year. Somebody like that, somebody who can be an outside corner and just dominate.
Yeah, I thought Travarius Ward was kind of like not coasting, but getting by on reputation. Like teams weren't really testing him, and then Kansas City did with Marquez Valdes-Scantling, had success, and I feel like, and then Raiders did with Devontae Adams in the end zone, had success. I feel like teams started realizing you shouldn't be necessarily scared of him. And that touchdown, that long one he gave up to DK in the playoffs was just horrendous. That was terrible technique. He didn't. he wasn't close enough to the wide receiver to look behind to find the ball. Once he looked behind, he slowed down even more. Then he was out of position to even make the tackle when he got beat. I mean, that was like rookie stuff. So I don't know. And John Lynch himself said at the end of the season, teams were more afraid of Amador Lenore than Charvarius Ward. He said it with a laugh, but it was kind of true.
Yeah, no, I think he's right. I mean, Ward, they didn't go at Ward early because I think the scouting report each game was Ward's their number one, go at their number two. Then I think towards the end of the year, in that KC game, I don't want to give him a total pass, but I think he was
groin.
He had the groin. He wasn't moving that well. They played a ton of zone that day. Mahomes picked him apart. Everybody was kind of chasing the plays from behind in that game.
That's true. Corey Soto says, moving Trey shows no logistical sense. Do you plan a long drive, sell your second car while my main is in the garage for an unknown time period, especially when my third has shown it can break down any time? Yeah, but you don't know what the Niners' assessment of the Trey car is. Maybe they feel that's totaled. You don't know. Official B&M Music 88 says Sam Darnold feels like an expensive Wilton Spate. They literally are the same guy. Wilton Spate. Is he the guy that went to Michigan and then UCLA?
Harbaugh.
He was with the Niners for he was there for training camp one year.
The most amazing thing of this offseason, if you said, what's the single most amazing, compelling moment outside of the Javon Hargrave signing, it's Kyle Shanahan saying that Sam Darnold's skill set is as good as any quarterback he's ever seen. I mean, that was like, what? I
know, but I bet you.
Is he marrying your daughter? I mean, who? I mean, what is the connection here?
Well, I bet you that since he's been the head coach with the Niners, I bet you the Niners gave Sam Darnold a higher draft grade pre-draft than any quarterback, anyone else. Probably higher than Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen. I bet you. Trevor Lawrence. I have a feeling that Kyle Shanahan gave Zach Wilson a higher draft grade than Trevor Lawrence, but I can't prove it. But
I think you might be right. I think you might be right because I get the sense from talking to people that spring that Kyle that was the guy that they really wanted, and then he of course went two in front of them.
Yeah.